Hello everyone, it's Justine. Today I'm going to be showing you 8 cards that I made with the new card kit from Spellbinders, and this one is called Indoor Garden. And yes, there are some pretty major updates to the card kits here in 2023 from Spellbinders. So, if you're interested in knowing all about the updates, I do have a video on my channel that goes through all of the updates for 2023. And I also have a video that I unbox the entire card kit. So this video and the video that I will be posting tomorrow about the card kit are really just inspiration videos and showing you what I made with the kit. I also show different tips and tricks that I kind of come across as I craft and just share some ideas. So I really enjoy using the die cuts. I really enjoy using the chipboard frames. So I went ahead and used one chipboard frame on this card to kind of be my focal point on the card. I've gone ahead and filled it up with some chipboard stickers, some die cuts, and this one I'm even going to cut in half just because I would like the kind of peach color one to nest under the shelf, and I'd like the gold one to be on the side just for some fun and interest. It's kind of as if they were picture frames on a wall. And then the last thing that I'm going to add to the card is a stamped sentiment that I have underneath my left hand there saying, "Hoping you get well soon." I really liked the add-on stamp set for this month. I've used it with stitch cards, glimmer cards, the card kit, the stamp and die. I even added it with one of those. So it's full of sentiments. It's called Sentimental Greetings. It's just awesome. Here's a picture of it on the screen. I will link that below. And there's also a die add-on called Happy Plant. Here's the Happy Plant. And I will also link that in the description below as well. They are 2 really great things to add onto the card kit, but if stamping and die cutting is not for you, the card kit is perfect because you don't have to use stamps and dies to make beautiful cards. I will be making some cards in this video and some cards in the video I will be posting tomorrow. That is 8 more cards. That really is just using the materials from the card kit. Nothing else. I'm not adding the add-ons to it. So if you're interested in seeing just from the card kit, go ahead and look at those cards. With that being said, you could have made that last card without that stamped sentiment, and you could have used maybe one of the stickers, or you could have used another stamp set from your collection, and you would have got a similar outcome. I really enjoy using the chipboard frames, so I definitely will be using up all of those from the kit. And with this one, I accidentally had a sticker get stuck to the bottom of it, and part of the bottom ripped a little. So I'm just going to cover that up with a stamped sentiment like so. Now, I don't think that I had it on camera, but I will just say a little tip about stamped sentiments for you. When you have paper out, you have ink out, maybe you're using a Misty, maybe you're using an acrylic block, and you're stamping out sentiments either on white paper with black ink or doing similar color tones. Maybe you're using green with a brown paper or whatever it might be, especially when you're using black and white. I will say this. I always make a bunch of them because you already have the materials out. You might as well batch up a couple sentiments. So this Hoping You Get Well Soon was one of probably 15 of those stamps that I stamped. Then when I want to use a stamp sentiment like that on a project, I can either just cut it to size then or cut it before and maybe mat it on some cardstock or not. You can see there I have some things on the back that will be hidden forever now on this card, but it's really just nice to have sentiments on hand. Then you don't have to take your materials out for stamping every time you want to put something on a card. So there's a little tip for you. Now, I loved all of the scene building elements from this card kit. We had windows, bookshelves, rugs, a lot of plants. I have so many plants now still left over, and it was neat to see all the different varieties and different color pots that or planters that they put them in. But I really like the scene cards, and I think something simple like that, hoping you get well soon, is kind of fun for a get well card. You know, someone's usually at home when they're sick, so there's a little home card for them. Now, this card is a bit of a wild child, I will call it. I wanted to use the film strip chipboard frame here, but I wasn't quite sure what to put in the inside. So on the outside, I have these kind of sun rays, and then I'm going to put this little happy plant next to the frame, and it's kind of a nod to the add-on die, which is the happy plant with the face on it, so it's a little bit smaller. But for the inside of the chipboard frame, I took this piece that was originally a die cut, and I just cut it down into 3 different sections. So it was technically like a wall hanging piece, and I just cut it down. So I had something to put in each window. I was considering using the butterflies or the hearts, but it really just wasn't working for my brain. So yeah, I went ahead and put these in. And it kind of ends up being, like I said, a wild child card. I think that it would be kind of fun to give to maybe like a young gal or something, just as a thinking of you kind of a card. With this 4th card, I really was inspired by the woman in the circle die cut. She just was just so cute with her little butterfly. So I used this orange paper to kind of coordinate with her hair, and I added 2 flowers behind the circle. And by doing that with just a little bit of double-sided adhesive behind, I was able just to kind of tuck those in very quickly. Then I had the sentiment Make-A-Wish. Like I said before, I batched, stamped all of those, so I had that ready to go. I just want to figure out my placement for my little gal here, and then my placement for my sentiment. Maybe I should go, right about there. So then I will take some glue and put it on my card. For my glue, I will just mention I'm using a little bit of double-sided adhesive in my tape runner there, but you can also use liquid glue like I just used there. You could use the tape that comes in the kit that's similar to my blue adhesive tape, but it just isn't as fast, so I use the blue one on film when I'm crafting. I don't want to forget to mention those puffy stickers. Now, they came in the kit, and I think they're really fun to use because they are thin enough and they are kind of a bold sentiment with the black and white, but they're a perfect sticker. They are quite sticky on the back, and you just have to pop them onto the card and you have a sentiment. So if you don't want to go ahead and get that stamp set add-on, you can just use the sentiments that come in the sticker pack, and you'll be all set for basically many sentiments that you might need. Since I did have another one of those film strip chipboard frames, I did choose to add the butterflies and the dragonfly into this one, just kind of tilting them as they went up. It's almost as if she was out in nature looking at butterflies, and here she is with one, and then her film strip has 3 pictures of one on there. I know it's kind of a loose interpretation of that idea, but it's kind of fun to make an idea with a card and to wonder, who might get this, or what's the story behind the picture that's happening on the card. So now I'm just going to tuck these little flowers in behind the circle. Luckily, I have my reverse tweezers, so it's easy just to kind of sneak in those leaves behind the flowers. Could I have glued the leaves on first? Sure. It's the same with the flowers. I could have put them behind the circle first, but I did not. So that's the way it is. Oh well. But my sentiment was looking a little drastic from the card with the just plain white and black. I know that the chipboard has white and black on it, but it needed a little something. So I put it on a piece of scrap pattern paper that I had from the kit, and I'm just going to fussy cut out a little bit of a border around that stamp sentiment. I could have used my paper cutter, but I just really wasn't feeling it, so I grabbed my scissors. Then to just add a little dimension to the card, a little more dimension I should say, I'm going to add some of the foam squares that came in the kit to the back of this piece. And as you see, I just cut the waffle area of the the foam squares, and I'm putting that behind as well because that's the same height as the squares, so it doesn't matter that it's not a perfect square in the back. It still works the same, and it's good to use all of that up because it functions the exact same way as the squares. So I always say use up your waffles, and that's what I mean by that. So I'm just going to add it right on to the bottom of my card, and that will finish up this card. It's quite full, quite busy, but that's okay. Now this next card is one of those cards that I'm using with strictly materials from the card kit, with the exception of the black cardstock that I mounted this on. But you could just cut the pattern paper down to the A2 size pattern paper, and that would work as well. Now you might be wondering, why did you cut that peach paper in half? Well, I will tell you. My peach paper was not quite long enough to go all the way across. It wasn't 4 inches long. So I cut it in the middle, and in that way I can stretch the paper going across. Then when I'm putting on my chipboard frame window here, right on top, that stretched area is no longer seen. So it's kind of a nice way to stretch the pattern paper just a little bit more. And now that there are less sheets of pattern paper coming in the card kit, it's good to stretch your paper just a little bit more. Now, this little nest of houses is just so sweet. I believe that the peach one, or the orangey peach, and the black one are chipboard pieces, and then the die cut one was the one where you can see inside the house. So it's kind of a combination there. Then with adding a couple of these gems right on there, it's a really fast, quick card that looks pretty adorable, if I do say so myself. Anyway, here is my last card of my 8. I'm just going to build up my scene. I'm trying to work from the background to the front, just so I can layer things on appropriately. And to do this, I'm using my double-sided tape gun, but I could have used my barely art glue as well. The die cuts really are, they're not thick, but hopefully that makes sense. They're not paper thin to like tissue paper thin, so they can hang on with that liquid glue as well. There's that cluster of 3 hexagons that I cut up before, and there's it put all together. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Now this is a very full scene card. I really wanted to get as many things as I could on to this card, but it really could have been simplified and still had a nice look. So here is a final look at all 8 cards. I think that if I had to choose a favorite, I would choose the one with the woman with this one right there, Make a Wish, just because it's simple, but it's also very pretty still. Which one is your favorite? I would love to know in the comments below, so please go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know which one it is. You can just say like, oh, it's the one with the plant in the chair or something, and I'll be able to figure it out from there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you stick around on my channel. I will be posting quite a lot of videos in January, especially about the clubs and some of the other new products that Spellbinders and maybe some other companies have coming out. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!